Ryobi. Let's have a look and have a little look around of a Ryobi compressor. Compressor, pump, inflator, whatever you want to call it. They seem to call it, what do they call it? An inflator and deflator. So we've got a nice little box. Usually Ryobi, they do give you nice boxes when you buy their tools. They're a pretty good tool altogether, really, Ryobi. This isn't a sponsored video, it's just I do like Ryobi. So this particular one, you don't get any batteries with it. I just bought the unit itself, no batteries, just a unit. So you got the usual stuff that you happen to see. 18 volts, I think nearly everything Ryobi's 18 volts. Never come across anything more yet. 3-in-1. So it's it does beds, it does tyres, and it does a load of other stuff, but we'll get into that in a minute. So yeah, you got pictures of inflating tyres and beds and all the other accessories. Load of other stuff here. Oh look, they've spilled. Oh no, I don't know. I thought that was compressor with a C. Maybe it was. Who knows? Anyway, let's have a look, see what we got down here. We got the 2-year warranty. I think nearly everything Ryobi comes with a 2-year warranty. And you got some random other pictures here. I think it's 150 psi is the maximum pressure that it can go to. But it does measure in bar, psi and kPa. So if you prefer any of those other measurements, go for it. Inside the box you obviously get the unit, but I've already taken that out because I've used it. Otherwise I wouldn't know what it's like, would I? So we got random bits and bobs, one battery, over 40 tools. So you know, that's why I like Ryobi, because you can use the same batteries for, you know, nearly all the tools. So if you're the sort of person that likes electric lawnmowers, you can go and buy a Ryobi lawnmower and use your own battery for it. You don't have to plug it in. I find that very handy indeed. You got the instruction manuals. Not read them, but they're probably quite good. They're usually in the English section, is usually in good English if you speak English. And we've got a lot of other stuff here. So let's put all that back in the box. Let's get rid of the box and have a look at the actual unit itself. It's a very nice unit indeed. I do find that Ryobi stuff is usually, although it's, well, I suppose some of it's not cheap, but it's cheaper than some other brands. Their drills are quite cheap actually. I think you can get a drill for about 20 quid or 30 quid, which is a reasonable price actually. Anyway, back to this compressor. See, they've called it an inflator and deflator. Because obviously it inflates and it deflates. Get a little tag, very nice. I like tags. One thing that I didn't realise when I bought it, but obviously I realised it once I got it out of the box, it has a proper thingy, so that you can pump up your tyres. Some of them have the little screw things, they screw on or they clip on you, I have to hold them on. Whereas I prefer these ones, because you slide it on and you bend that down and it stays on your valve, and it doesn't come off, and it seals pretty well. It's also a very good quality one. It's not a cheap one. Well, that's a little bit loose, but that's not a bad thing, you know. Sometimes you get these and they're quite cheap and they fall apart and they don't hold the valve very well, but this is a very good one. So you get that goes, stores nicely around there and then just clips into place there. It's very nice. You got your little tools, your little adapter things, one for pumping up balls like footballs and basketballs, another one and another one. I don't know what they're for, that's obviously for something, but you know, I never use those little tools on pumps. I never have done and probably never will do. I don't have anything to use with. Various screws, that's where your battery goes in. We'll get to the battery in a minute. This is your little pipe thing. Kind of just, I don't really know how that's supposed to go there. It just kind of stays there, but it's not a bad thing. That's for pumping up your beds, your air beds, or anything else that may fit on. It's got a little thing what goes on there like that, and just goes into your little air bed and pumps that up. Then we've got some. Oh, that little symbol shows your beds, and you've got tyres, but you got like little instructions here on the front, which are okay. You got your little switch that turns on the bed pump, and that goes to your tyre pump. You got your on and off switch, and you got your minus and your plus to adjust the pressure. Now I'll show you that, but before I do that, let's get into batteries. Now you want quite a big battery to power this, really, ideally. You know, this is one of the bigger batteries if the camera will ever focus on the bloody thing. There we go. So, but it will also, if you've just got your ordinary little one here. What is this one? It's 1.3. If you've got a 1.3 one, now I did pump up tyres with this. I had one car which had completely flat tyres, all of them were right flat. I pumped them all up to 30 psi each, all 4 of them, and the battery didn't even didn't diminish at all. Then I went over to the van. The tyres were they were quite low. Pumped them all up to 56 psi. Still good on this battery. Went over to the other 2 cars, and they were also, you know, lowish psi, because I don't check them very often, and it pumped them all up, and this battery is still good. So that should give you an idea of that you can do. I don't even know if it's fully charged, because this is a cheap one. The better batteries have a little indicator there to tell you how much charge you've got left, but this one was a cheap battery and doesn't have the little indicator on it, so I don't know how flat it is actually. Don't even know if it was fully charged when I started, but there you go. So you can use either batteries, and we'll plug that one in there like that, and we can press the old on button and it comes on. Yeah, we can kind of see that. We've got 0, 0 there because nothing's plugged in. When you put this on your valve on your tyre, that will show you the pressure what's currently in your tyre. It'll come up with you can adjust that. Let's see if we can get a view of that actually. I don't know if it will, because this camera's not that good at focusing on random lights like that. We've got 0. You can't really see the PSI, but on the right hand side here there is no, it's not going to focus. Oh, it might do. Nah, it's not going to. Just wasting time. But there's a PSI, bar, and KPA. So if you just press the on and off button, it moves. We're on what are we on now? Bar. Press it again, and it'll go to KPA. And if you press it again, yeah, there you go. Back to PSI. So you can adjust that by just tapping the on and off button. It changes all of those, and then what you do is you press that, and that goes, we're at 10 psi right now. You can put it down if you want to, but that sets the psi that you want it to go to. So let's just say, for example, we want to go all the way up, and we want to pump our tyres up to 30 psi. There we go. So we've got it up to 30 psi, and then we just flick this switch to the right, and that will obviously keep pumping all the way up to 30. I think it takes it up to 31 psi, which is the proper way of pumping up a tyre. It takes up to 31, and then it stops because the pressure in the tyre will equalise after the air's stopped going in. So it could take it to 31, and then you leave it for a couple of seconds, and it'll go down. Should go down to 30, which is what you should be setting it at. So, you know, I like the ones that do this. A lot of them don't, but I like the ones that do that. And then obviously, you know, you can adjust it down all the way up to 150 psi. And it does actually pump the tyres up very quick actually. I wasn't sure, because you buy some pumps, the ones that are plugged into the cigarette lighter and all that, some of them are quite slow. So when you're pumping up the old tyre, you're waiting there for a long time. But this one actually pumped them up very quick. The ones that were flat went up to PSI in about 1.5 to 2 minutes, which is quick. That's very quick actually for a little pump like this. You know, like I said, usually they're quite slow. If you push that little button to the right, that turns on the old bed pump, and there's not a lot to that. That's sorted. That's the bed pump. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. There's not a lot else to go, you know, to go on to it. It's a pump. There's not really a lot to say about a pump, really. Battery obviously slots in there nicely, just like you do normal drills, and you take it out like that. And just to show you, the bigger ones still go in there the same, and it sits on the floor nicely. You know, it doesn't make it wobble or anything. They're designed so that that will sit there nicely. Very good. So there you go. That's the Ryobi inflator and deflator. It's they only seem they do a different one, which is like a trigger with an analog dial in it and trigger, but that only seems to be in America. I haven't come across that one in England, which is why I went and bought this one, which I believe it was 53 or 56 quid. I can't remember now, but I will put the link because I bought it from Amazon, so I'll put the link for the Amazon listing in the description down there, so that if you want to, you can go and buy it. But I definitely recommend it. It's a very good pump, and you know, if you want a portable pump and you've got Ryobi tools anyway, so you've got loads of batteries hanging around, definitely go ahead and get this because it's very nice, very good indeed. So sweet.